Hey guys, tonight we begin a life that most people don't think about for more than a few seconds, and for very good reason. A time where power is uneven, mercy is inconsistent, and silence is often the safest decision you can make. Before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is for you right now. It's always interesting to see how far this reaches. Someone in New York at 11:47 p.m., someone in London just past midnight, and maybe someone in Dubai, somewhere in between. All of you ending your day here, letting this play as the night settles in. Tonight, you are not a citizen, not a worker, not even someone with choices. Tonight, you are a slave in ancient Rome, a life where the day is already moving before you wake up, and where even something as small as looking in the wrong direction can be enough to get in trouble. You wake up, and nothing about your life belongs to you. Pain. It's already there when you wake up. Not sharp, not sudden. Something older than that. Something settled deep into your back, like it has claimed its place and has no intention of leaving. Your shoulder does not move cleanly when you try to shift, and your hands open slowly, stiff, reluctant, as if they remember yesterday more clearly than you do. You are on the ground, bare stone, cold in places, sharp in others, pressing into your bones, without negotiation. It does not adjust to you. It does not soften. It tells you exactly where you are, with every breath you take. Around you, bodies lie close together, not resting, not comfortable, placed. Sleep here is not peace. It is a pause, forced on a body that had no strength left to resist it. You keep your eyes closed for a moment longer, not to rest, but to delay, because you already know how this begins. And there is a brief second just before everything starts again, where nothing has been demanded from you yet. It never lasts. The door opens, not loudly. It never needs to be. The sound of wood shifting and iron brushing against it moves through the room with the certainty of something that has happened too many times to be ignored. Where is he? The voice arrives already impatient, already ahead of the moment, as if the answer should have been there before the question was asked. Your eyes open immediately, because that voice is not meant for the room. It is meant for someone inside it. Movement spreads quickly, bodies pushing themselves up too fast, someone knocking into another, a curse slipping out, and then disappearing just as quickly. No one wants to be the one who draws attention, and yet attention is already here, moving through the room, searching. Up now. You push yourself off the ground, and your body answers with resistance. Your back tightens hard. Your shoulder drags behind the movement. Your hands close slowly, unwilling. None of it matters. Pain is not something that delays you here. It moves with you. The cloth on your body shifts as you stand, hanging from you more than covering you, worn past its purpose, thin and uneven, offering nothing except the fact that you are not meant to have more than this. It scratches against your skin when you move, a constant reminder that even small discomforts are not meant to disappear. You ignore it, because you have learned that reacting is a luxury. Men are being pulled up faster now. One of them hesitates for a moment, not defiant, just slow. A hand grabs him. Hard. Move. He stumbles forward, dragged into motion before he can find his balance. No one looks directly. Everyone sees. You step forward with the others, placing yourself in the safest position you know. Not first, not last. Somewhere in the middle where you exist without being marked. You aim for it without thinking. The corridor narrows around you, stone walls pressing in, worn smooth where they have been touched too often, rough where no one bothers. The ground shifts under your feet, uneven, familiar, in a way that has already settled into your body. You keep your gaze low, not out of respect, out of survival, and then, without meaning to, you look up, just for a second. Someone is already watching. You meet his eyes, and in that instant, the mistake is complete. Eyes down. The words land with the strike, the back of a hand cutting across your face before you can correct it. Not enough to break anything. Enough to remind you that small things do not stay small here. Your head turns. You say nothing. You lower your gaze. You continue moving. The moment passes. It does not disappear. It settles. Ahead, the corridor opens into a wider space, and the air changes. Light spreads across cleaner stone, surfaces arranged, controlled, as if this part of the house follows a different set of rules. You notice the others, slaves, different ones. Their clothes are intact, not new, not fine, but whole. They move with less hesitation, stepping where they know they are allowed, adjusting themselves without correction. Household slaves, you have heard about them, always quietly. They work inside, near the family, near decisions, near moments that matter, which means near mistakes that matter more. There was one. You remember that much. Not long ago, or maybe longer. Time does not stay still here. He worked inside, spoke when spoken to, understood things others did not. And then one day, he spoke when he should not have. No shouting, no scene, just absence. Clean, quiet, final. No one explains it. You understand it anyway. The atrium opens before you, wide and controlled, with still water reflecting light that does not belong to you. Voices echo from deeper inside, calm, measured, untouched by the rhythm you woke up in. And then, laughter, soft, contained. It does not belong to your world. A tool is placed in your hands. Rough, used, heavy enough to matter. No instructions. You take it. For a moment, a thought rises. Why this? It disappears immediately. Questions do not stay small here. They move. And when they reach the wrong place, they return as something heavier. So you move. You follow. You begin. And as the motion settles into your body, as the weight becomes familiar, and the space closes around you, one thing becomes clear, with a certainty that does not need explanation. This is not the start of anything. This is something already in motion, something that was here before you woke up, something that will still be here tomorrow, even if you are not. The work does not begin with instructions. It begins with being handed something you would never choose to touch. You are pulled away from the open part of the house and into a narrower passage where the air thickens immediately, as if it has been trapped there on purpose. The light fades, the walls close in, and whatever order existed in the atrium gives way to something more honest, more used, more real. The tool in your hands is replaced with a bucket. Not clean, not empty. You don't look inside it at first. You don't need to. The smell reaches you before the truth does. It is sharp, sour, layered with things that should not stay in the same place for this long. It clings to the air the way smoke clings after a fire. Stubborn, invasive, impossible to ignore once it settles in your throat. You look anyway. That is your second mistake of the morning. Cloth, fabric, heavy with use, stained in ways that no water fully removes. The clothes of people who do not think about where things go after they are done with them. You dip your hands into the water. It is already wrong, clouded, lukewarm, carrying the remains of other work, other days, other people's discomfort, passed down until it reaches you. You press the cloth into it anyway. There is no careful way to do this. You begin to wash, not clean. Wash, the difference matters. Your hands move through the fabric, pressing, wringing, dragging it through water. That does not improve it so much as rearrange the problem. The smell does not leave. It spreads, settles into your skin, into the cracks of your hands, into something deeper that you will still notice later when there is nothing around to explain it. You keep your face still. That is part of the work too. Next to you, another slave works faster. Not better, just faster. You understand why? Speed looks like effort. Effort looks like obedience. You follow the rhythm. Cloth, water, pressure. Repeat. At some point, you realize something almost amusing, if anything here allowed for amusement. The people who wear these clothes speak about cleanliness. They bathe, they perfume themselves, they discuss order, discipline, refinement, and then hand this to you like it simply disappears between one moment and the next. You press harder, not because it helps, because it gives your hands something to do besides think. A voice cuts through the room. Not loud. It doesn't need to be. You missed a spot. The words are directed at someone to your left. You don't look. You listen. The man begins to answer. That is where it ends. The correction comes fast. A sharp strike, controlled, practiced, delivered with the kind of precision that comes from repetition, not anger, not loss of control. Routine. Silence follows, not forced. Understood. You adjust your own movements immediately, going back over the same piece of fabric. Slower now, more deliberate, even though you know the outcome will not change much. The point is not perfection. The point is that no one can say you didn't try. The work shifts. Buckets are moved. New tasks appear without being explained. You are sent further in. This time, it is not cloth. It is worse. The room is smaller, enclosed, the air heavier in a way that settles directly into your chest. The stone here is darker, stained over time, not from neglect, but from use that no one speaks about openly. You are handed a tool again. Long handle, flat edge. Now, you understand. You move toward the corner where the ground slopes slightly, where waste collects before it is removed, where everything that is not meant to be seen gathers quietly until someone like you is told to deal with it. There is no metaphor there that improves this. You do the work, slow at first, then faster, because hesitation only makes it worse. The smell becomes something constant, no longer sharp, no longer surprising, just there, filling every space until your body stops reacting to it and simply accepts it as part of the air. For a moment, a thought forms, uninvited, clear, and almost dangerous. They eat better than you. They live cleaner than you. They speak about order, and this is where it ends up. You push the thought away, not because it is wrong, because it is useless. Footsteps pass behind you. You straighten slightly, not enough to stop, just enough to show that you are aware. No one speaks to you. That is a kind of relief. Time stretches again. Work folds into itself. One task becomes another, without a clear boundary between them. And slowly, something settles deeper than the exhaustion, deeper than the smell, deeper than the discomfort that never fully leaves your body. Understanding, not sudden, not dramatic, clear. Nothing here disappears. It just moves, from them to you. And if you are not careful, from you to something worse. The work does not stop. It changes shape. At some point, the tasks blur into each other, and your body keeps moving, even when your mind no longer follows. The smell stays with you. The weight in your arms settles deeper, and the sound of water, stone, and movement becomes something constant, like a background you cannot step out of. And then, without announcement, without relief, something else arrives. Hunger. Not sharp at first, not demanding, just there. A quiet emptiness that sits low in your stomach, patient, waiting, growing slowly as the work continues. It does not distract you immediately. It stays in the background like something you can ignore. Until you can't. You realize you have not eaten. Not today. Maybe not enough yesterday. It becomes difficult to remember. Around you, no one mentions it. No one reacts. That is how you understand it matters. The smell changes again as you are moved through another part of the house. Not cleaner, just different. Warmer, richer. Food. It reaches you before you see it, carried through the air in a way that feels almost deliberate, as if it is meant to remind you of something you do not have. Bread, oil, something cooked, not much, not extravagant, but enough to feel like a world away from where you stand. You do not stop. You are not told to stop, but your body notices. For a moment, your eyes move, not up, sideways. There is a table, not prepared for you, never for you. Pieces of bread left at the edge, not carefully placed, not guarded, just there. And something shifts. It is not a plan. It is not even a decision. It is a moment. You slow slightly as you pass, just enough, just long enough. Your hand moves, fast, too fast to think, too slow to undo. The bread is in your hand, rough, dry, small, more than you have. You keep moving. No one reacts. No one calls out. No one stops you. That is the first problem. Because silence here does not mean safety. It means something is waiting. You do not eat it immediately. You know better. You keep it hidden. Your hand closed tighter than necessary. The shape of it pressing into your palm, like something that already knows it does not belong to you. You wait for a moment, a corner, a place where no one is looking. You find it, or you think you do. You lift your hand, just slightly, and then stop. The word lands behind you, not loud, not rushed, certain. You don't turn immediately. You don't need to. You already know. The space around you shifts, not physically, but in the way people move. Slight adjustments, small distances created without anyone appearing to do it. You are no longer part of the flow. You are the interruption. Open your hand. There is no point in pretending. Not here. Not now. You open it. The bread sits there. Small. Obvious. Final. For a moment, nothing happens. And that moment stretches longer than it should. Long enough for your thoughts to catch up. Long enough for you to understand exactly what this is. Not about bread. Never about bread. A hand takes it from you. Not roughly. Not gently. Decisively. You take what is not given. The voice is calm. Almost thoughtful. As if you have a choice. There is no anger in it. That makes it worse. You are not struck immediately. That is the second problem. Instead, you are watched. Measured. Considered. Then, the man shouts, "Follow." You follow, not because you agree, but because there is nothing in you that can resist the direction your body has already taken. The corridor is the same one you walked through before. The same stone under your feet. the same walls pressing in, just enough to remind you that space here is never generous. And yet it feels different now, as if everything has shifted slightly, not in shape, but in meaning. The sounds of the house continue without interruption, voices speaking somewhere deeper inside, movement passing behind doors, even a trace of laughter that has nothing to do with you. And all of it carries on as if nothing has changed. Except something has. You are no longer part of the work moving through the house. You are the interruption in it. The man leading you does not hurry. That is what settles it more than anything else. There is no anger in the way he walks, no urgency, no sense that something unexpected has happened. He moves with the quiet certainty of someone completing a routine task. The same way you were scrubbing stone minutes ago, the same way others are still working now. That is when you understand. This is not punishment, born from emotion. It is maintenance. You are brought into a smaller room, one that does not pretend to be anything else. The light is weaker here, filtered and uneven, settling across walls that carry marks not from decoration, but from use. The air feels heavier, still, like it has learned not to move unless something forces it. You are told to stop, and you do. There is no explanation, no speech about rules or discipline. Nothing is explained because nothing needs to be. You already know what this is. Everyone does. The only difference is whether it is happening to you or not. Hands. The word is simple, and for a fraction of a second, your body hesitates, not in defiance, but in recognition. Then you extend them, because hesitation here is not something that fades. It becomes something that is noticed. The rope is rough when it closes around your wrists, tightened quickly, efficiently, like tying something that is not expected to move. It does not hurt yet. It removes choice. That is enough. The first strike lands without warning, clean and controlled, as if it has been measured before it even touches you. Pain arrives whole, not building, not creeping. Just there, immediate, complete, impossible to misunderstand. Your body reacts without permission. A tightening, a shift, something instinctive that tries to move away from it, even though there is nowhere to go. You don't shout, not because you are strong, but because you have already learned that noise does not improve anything here. It only adds to it. The next strike follows, then another, spaced in a rhythm that feels almost deliberate, like someone counting something you are not meant to hear. It is not fast, not wild, nothing like the chaos you might expect. It is controlled in a way that makes it worse, because it means this is not an exception. This is practiced. At some point, the pain stops being sharp and becomes something heavier, spreading across your back, settling into your body like a weight that does not lift between each strike. You stop trying to separate one moment from the next. It is easier to let it become one continuous thing, something you endure instead of something you measure. And somewhere inside that, a thought appears, clear, uninvited, almost absurd. All of this for a piece of bread. The thought stays for a second longer than it should, and there is something in it that almost feels like humor, if humor still had a place here. They eat without thinking. They leave food behind. They speak about discipline, about order, about control. And here you are, tied in place, being corrected for taking what would have disappeared without notice. It is a strange kind of balance, the kind that only works if no one questions it. The strikes stop, not gradually, completely, as if a decision has been reached. The rope loosens, your hands released back to you, though they do not feel like yours immediately. They hang there for a moment, slow to respond, as if they need to remember how to move without being told. You lower them carefully, not because you are relieved, but because control matters more now than anything else. No one asks if you understand. They assume you do. Good. The word lands without warmth, without approval. Just a quiet confirmation that something has been completed the way it was meant to be. You expect to be sent back. Back to the work, back to the rhythm, back to the place where you can disappear again among the others and let the day continue without noticing you. That is what should happen. That is what makes the next part wrong. You're done here. The words do not sound heavy, but they settle that way, not fitting into anything you expected. For a moment, they don't make sense, not because they are unclear, but because they don't belong to the pattern you have started to understand. Work does not end here. Mistakes do not remove you. They reshape you. You look up more carefully this time, slower, controlled, and the man is already watching you. Not angry, not satisfied, just certain. Another house needs hands, and there it is. Not louder, not clearer, just final. You are not being returned to the work. You are being taken out of it, sold. The word is never spoken, but it does not need to be. It settles into you in a way that stretches further than pain ever could, because pain ends. This does not. This continues somewhere you cannot see yet. For a brief moment, something almost hopeful tries to form. Another house, another place, something different. It does not last. You understand too much now for hope to stay simple. Better is not promised. Worse is not unlikely. You are untied, not freed, just moved into the next step. And as you are led back through the same corridors, past the same ordered spaces that never belonged to you, one thought settles quietly, more stable than anything else you have felt today. You are not being punished for what you did. You are being moved because of it. Because here, even mistakes are not wasted. You arrive without ceremony. The man who brings you in speaks briefly to another, pointing once in your direction, then once toward the inner part of the house. The exchange is short, practiced. You catch a few words. Strong enough, knows basic work. Keep him inside for now. That is the closest thing to an introduction you receive. The new overseer looks at you properly, not long, just enough to measure you the way someone measures a tool before deciding where to use it. You carry. You clean. You stay out of the way. He gestures with 2 fingers toward a group already moving. You follow them. Watch first, then do it the same. That is the instruction. Simple, clear, and far more useful than anything you were given before. The house is larger, but what stands out is the order. Everything has a place, and everything seems to know where that place is. The floors are smooth enough that your steps sound different, softer, less forgiving of mistakes. The walls reflect light instead of swallowing it, and the air carries scents that shift from room to room. Oil, wine, herbs, polished wood. You notice it immediately. This place does not hide its wealth. It arranges it. You fall into the movement of the others, carrying trays, shifting objects, adjusting small things that seem unimportant until you notice how precisely they are placed. A cup moved half a hand width, out of line is corrected. A cloth folded unevenly is redone. No one explains why. You understand it by watching. Time moves, and with it your tasks. You are sent further inside, deeper into rooms where voices carry more weight. Here, people speak in a lower tone, not out of fear, but out of habit. Conversations are measured, controlled, the kind that do not waste words. You are told to pass through a corridor with a tray of oil lamps. Straight ahead. Left turn. Do not stop. You nod. You walk. The doorway you pass is open just enough, and voices spill through it. The fire will move along the insulae first, one man says, his tone calm, almost analytical. Those buildings are packed too tightly. Once it starts, it won't stay contained. Another voice answers, quieter, carrying something close to amusement. People will panic before they understand what's happening. That buys time. You keep walking. The tray remains steady in your hands. And the blame? The second voice asks, a pause. Not long. There are always people to blame. Foreigners, rivals, anyone convenient. The crowd only needs a direction. You reach the corner. You turn left. Just as you were told, your body keeps moving, placing one step in front of the other. But the words stay with you, settling somewhere deeper than the work you're doing. You place the lamps where you saw others place them, adjusting their position until they match, until nothing about them stands out. Your hands work. Your mind listens. The conversation fades as you move further away, replaced by the quieter rhythm of the house. Footsteps, fabric, distant voices blending into something controlled and constant. You return along the same path a few minutes later, empty tray in your hands this time. The door is closed. Someone else passes you, carrying wine. Another adjusts a curtain. Everything continues. But something has shifted. The words did not sound like anger. They sounded like planning, measured, certain, as if the city outside these walls is something that can be moved, shaped, and if necessary, broken. You step back into the main space, joining the others again, your movements aligning with theirs. Carry, place, adjust, repeat. The rhythm is familiar already, and yet it feels different now. Before, your world stayed close to your hands. Work, pain, hunger. Now something larger presses in from the edges, something you cannot see directly, but can feel moving behind everything. The city is built to burn. You do not repeat the words. You do not react to them. You continue working. But the next time you hear laughter in this house, it sounds different, not lighter, sharper. And for the first time since you arrived, the work feels smaller than what is happening around it. The house continues as if nothing has changed. You carry, place, adjust, move through rooms that seem untouched by urgency, while something you cannot see begins to take shape beyond the walls. The words you heard earlier settle into your thoughts, not loud, not repeating, just present, like a weight that does not need to move to be felt. The city is built to burn, and the people inside this house speak about it the way others speak about weather. You work beside the same group now, your movements closer to theirs, your timing better, your mistakes smaller. That is how you avoid attention. That is how you remain useful. It is also how you begin to notice more. The man next to you works quietly, steady, older than you by years that show in the way he moves. He does not rush. He does not hesitate. His hands know what to do before the task is even fully visible. At some point, without looking at you, he speaks. You slow down near that room. The words land casually, almost like an observation about the floor. You keep working. I was carrying oil, you answer, matching his tone. Everyone carries something. A pause follows, but not an empty one. It holds just enough meaning to tell you he is not asking. He already knows. You heard them, he says, finally glancing at you. Not long enough to draw attention, just enough to confirm what he already decided. You don't answer. You don't need to. He nods once, almost to himself. They've been talking like that for days. That settles something. This is not a passing idea. It is a plan that has had time to grow. You understand what that means? He asks. You do, not fully, but enough. Fire spreads, you say quietly. He almost smiles. Not because it's funny, because it's obvious. Fire spreads, he repeats, and people run. And when people run, no one counts who's missing. Your hands stop for a fraction of a second before you force them to continue. Now you understand why he told you. He adjusts the cloth in his hands, wringing it out with slow precision. I've been waiting, he says, for something that makes this place less stable. You look at him, carefully. This does. The simplicity of it is what makes it convincing. Around you, the work continues. The same rhythm, the same quiet order, as if the house itself refuses to acknowledge what is coming. But now there are two of you who know. Name? You ask. He hesitates, just enough to show that it matters. Then, Marcus. You nod once. No need for more. Names here are not introductions. They are risks. That night, if it can be called night in a place where time folds into itself, the air changes. Not suddenly, gradually. The smell reaches you first. Smoke. Faint at first, like something distant, something that could still be ignored. Then stronger. Voices begin to rise. Not calm ones, not controlled ones. Shouting. Movement. Running. The house reacts, not with panic, but with urgency. Orders are given faster now, less measured, more direct. Water. Move. Inside. Marcus finds you without searching. It started. You don't ask where. It doesn't matter. What now? You say. He looks toward the inner part of the house, then back toward the outer corridor. Now, he says, we stop being where they expect us to be. That is the plan. Simple, dangerous, possible. You move together, not running, not yet. Just shifting direction at the right moment, letting the movement of others cover yours. Slaves rush past carrying water. Others are sent to different parts of the house. And in that confusion, space opens, small, enough. Marcus moves first. You follow. For the first time since you arrived here, you are not part of the pattern. You are moving against it, and that, more than anything, feels like freedom. The city does not burn all at once. It spreads. At first, it is smoke, thickening the air, turning every breath into something heavier. Then light appears where it should not, flickering along rooftops, climbing walls, moving faster than it should be allowed to. People shout directions no one follows. Water is thrown where it no longer matters. The streets narrow the movement, trapping the crowd into itself. Bodies pressing forward and backward at the same time, everyone trying to leave, no one knowing where to go. You and Marcus move through it, not with strength, but with timing. You follow the gaps, the moments when people turn, when attention shifts, when something louder pulls focus away from you. The heat builds quickly. It presses against your skin, wraps around your body, fills your lungs with something that does not belong there. Sparks fall from above, small, bright, dangerous in ways that feel almost distant until one lands too close. A man runs past you, carrying something he refuses to drop. Another pushes against the flow, trying to return. Neither makes sense. Both are real. Marcus grabs your arm once, pulling you into a narrower passage between buildings. This way. The space is tighter, darker, but clearer. Less people. More chance. You move through it. Faster now. Your body no longer waiting for permission. Your steps no longer measured against anyone else's. The rhythm you learned inside the house falls away, replaced by something simpler. Move. Avoid. Continue. Behind you, something collapses. The sound cuts through everything else. A deep, heavy break that echoes through the street. You don't turn. You already know what it means. At some point, the noise fades just enough. Not gone. Distant. You reach an open space, larger, less crowded. The fire still visible, still moving, but no longer surrounding you. You stop. For the first time. Your chest rises and falls harder than it should. Your hands still feel the work you were doing earlier, as if they haven't realized yet that it has stopped. Marcus stands beside you, looking back toward the city. That was their plan, he says. You follow his gaze. The fire spreads along the rooftops, moving exactly the way you heard it described. Controlled in its beginning, uncontrollable in its result. And now, you ask? He shrugs slightly. For them? Opportunity. Then he looks at you. For us? A pause. Choice. The word feels unfamiliar. Not because you don't understand it, because you haven't used it. You look back once. At the city. At the place you came from. At the house that decided where you stood, what you carried, what you were worth. And for the first time, it feels distant, not gone, but no longer holding you in place. You turn, you walk, not fast, not slow, just forward. The night carries the smell of smoke with it, the sound of the fire still echoing behind you. But each step takes you further from it, further from the place where your life was measured by someone else. And somewhere ahead, beyond the noise, beyond the heat, beyond everything you have just left behind, there is something you have not felt in a long time. Not safety, not certainty, something quieter. Possibility. You keep walking. The fire behind you settles into a distant glow, its crackling carried through the night as the city continues to burn in a way that will be remembered long after this moment passes. But as you move further away, one truth stays with you. This is one life, one path that led outward. For every step you take away from those flames, there are countless others who never leave. Lives that remain inside those walls, inside that system, worn down slowly, day after day, until even rest becomes something that feels borrowed. Most of them never see a way out. And tonight, you are not one of them. You are not lying on stone, waiting for a door to open. You are not measuring your breath or watching the ground to avoid being seen. You are somewhere else, in a place where the ground gives way beneath you, where your body can finally rest without asking permission, where the night is quiet for a different reason, where you choose when to close your eyes. So, good night. And let the sound of the fire, distant now, steady and soft, carry you through the rest of it.